the Vans and stuff has always happened.
Right.
There was Fox first, and then Honda, which was Honda and Fox at that time, and then we've since then done that.
But you weren't involved in that stuff.
No, I worked on that stuff.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all of it.
And then you ran a helmet at one of the races this year.
Yeah. So the Ducati project obviously is the most recent thing.
Yep. Yeah,
Right.
that was last season. Yeah.
Is that one of the bigger, things
For sure.
you've worked on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a big one. Yeah.
It was sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, super cool.
And so how does that, what does that process look like in terms of, do you go to the company and say, this is something I think would be cool, or they come to you and say, we're looking at getting, we want to do a different collab in this motorsport region, and you're like, okay, well, I can push it this way?
Basically, that came up because, I think they reached out to us a very long time ago, like when I first started working there, and it was like not interested. And then those kind of projects are usually a different category than what I work on. I mean, we're still a pretty small team, so there's a lot of overlap, and a lot of us work on a lot of different shit.
How big is the company? I think a lot of people think it's massive, but
it's not that big.
Yeah,
it's not that. I can't.
It's
even
like less than 100 people total.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not including like stores and shit, but it's not big. And so it came up. There's a lot of shit personally that I'd love to do there all the time, but that's not how it works.
Right.
And so I didn't bring it up, but the dude that's in charge of those kind of projects was like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. I was like, cool. So, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it came up, and then we often just kind of like internally talk about shit before we ever reach out, and then we decided we were down to do it, and so we reached out. I'd already kind of was able to ring up Paolo Ciabatti and talk to him, and he kind of like initiated the whole thing. Yeah.
And do you think it's getting into the industry? Like, what was your impression? Obviously you've been in other industries, whether it's skate or snow, and like I've dealt with people that are bigger names or whatnot. Like, has it been more or less accessible, or kind of like what you expected to get to knowing to those people? Like, was it difficult? Like, I couldn't imagine like you could just call up Toto Wolff and be like, yo, I want to do a collab with Mercedes, and it'd be like pretty easy to get there. Like, it'd be like a long road of a chain of numerous people, and very difficult, and probably not that fun to make something happen. Has it been different? Because most
this
are
is
small.
Yeah. I mean, you mean like being able to be like, oh,
just making connections.
Making
genuine connections.
So I think what I'm very fortunate in this scenario is that along these lines of me getting back into motorcycle shit, people have, if you do certain shit, people are always hitting you up. And one person that hit me up in Italy is this guy Federico Fantini, who's a VR46 dude. And this was when VR46 was going to be their first year. It was under a Vincia Real still. It was one bike, and it was Luca on the one bike. And they were like, hey, we'd like to do something. And like a lot of scenarios, I was like, hey, you guys, personally, love this. Not going to happen, you know, because it, in the U.S., and this is a bigger conversation, but in the U.S., it's like kids don't know what the fuck MotoGP is, and like it wasn't something that at that time, it wasn't as simple as like, it's not Ducati saying, hey, do you want to, it's different than what we started talking about. And I was like, hey, thanks for reaching out. He seems super cool, and he did Fox Italy for a while. Was just a great dude, and we stayed in touch. I was like, let's stay in touch, and because it's VR46, it's like, oh hey, Pecco and Valentino love the brand, and I was like, cool. Let me send you a box of stuff, and then to then kind of have then to be talking to Pecco and meeting Valentino and shit at that first Coda race, at the first Austin race I went to, met him, and it's like to see those dudes get excited about something that is like I don't really think about very much, but and to see professional at a level to be like gassed on a sweatshirt is like, that's cool. You know, that's super cool. But that started an open dialogue in that world, and in a cool way too, because it wasn't based on anything really, you know, it was just like kind of worlds colliding a little bit. And so because of that, I knew Paolo because he was running the team at that point. And so when we were talking about doing the Ducati project, it was like, cool, I can reach out to them. And obviously it was like they were into it. So yeah.